Last time we talked about the principles of guerrilla warfare being applied to self-defense. It's the weak against the strong. We're always the weak in self-defense. We're the small force. And we talked about the guerrilla fighter picks the time and the place and how that it does apply to self-defense. The next principle is the guerrilla fighter knows when to feign weakness when he's strong and to feign strength when he's weak. So, boy, I can think of a number of ways how we could apply that to self-defense. So let's start with he feigns weakness when he's strong. Let's say you had a home invasion, and my wife Jerry and I have talked about this a few times. They got in, they got the jump on you, and there they are. Well, I might be on the couch and act like I've got a severe back injury, and they get me up, and where's my cane? Please don't hurt us. And I'm stumbling along, and the fact is I'm fine. You could see how the attackers might really drop their guard and realize this guy's nothing to shove me or do move over here. And all of a sudden you realize, well, they have left themselves wide open, and then suddenly explode into them with an attack. And the only thing too about that principle you have to be a little bit careful with, guys, is that sometimes when you're acting weak, when you're strong, it might encourage this guy to just decide he'll take a punch at you. And it would have been better had you not done that. So there's a time to do it and there's a time not to do it. So let's say a guy approaches me and wants to beat me up, whatever, doesn't know me. I would have, please don't hurt me, just leave me alone. And you know, sometimes that's enough for the guy, oh, you little wimp, and off he goes, and let him go with that. But like I said, there could be times when that encourages him. So you got to be careful with that principle. It certainly applies. I mean, we want to avoid the attack, but feigning weakness when you're actually strong. So the other side, feigning strength when you're weak. Boy, I got a great example of this. I got several, but one that happened to a friend of mine, and he's since deceased, but this man was a bodybuilder. He wore it. He was huge. This guy was just thick. And so he's driving down the interstate one day late at night. They had a cat in the vehicle, and the cat crapped inside the vehicle. They had to pull over, and they're cleaning the car out, and a car came by and pulled up behind him. But one guy got out of the car really quickly, and he started coming at the car, and he yelled at the person in the passenger seat, "Get in place now!" And they were coming in, and my buddy was there, and he didn't have a weapon. And he realized, man, was he in a bad spot. So I think he was outside the car at the time for some. He opened the door and he reached in like he had grabbed a gun. He reached in and grabbed, and he held his hand behind the door. So, here's the door open. He opened it up. The door stayed open. And he looked at the guy and he said, "Go back to your car now." And he had his hand here, and the guy started walking up, fierce, and he kind of slowed down a little bit, and then he went, "Shit!" And back they went to their car and left. I was like, wow, that was brilliant. He didn't have a weapon, man. He had nothing. And he can guarantee you these two guys, they were armed. So he acted strong when he was weak. There's a lot of examples of that. I'm thinking of the Godfather movie too, and that scene with where the Al Pacino, or whatever part he played, but these guys come in and he realizes they're in trouble, and he takes the baker guy and turns his coat up and and then he sticks his hand in his coat when the guys come up, and acting like he had a weapon. And as they drove up and they realized, now's not the time or place. So there's a lot of applications for acting strong when you're weak. And we get this principle from the guerrilla fighter.